You mentioned a little bit about you didn't see yourself doing this, and you didn't feel like you were brainiac enough. Are there moments, maybe in high school, in college, or in medical school, that kind of created that fear for you? Why did you feel like that was the case?
Yeah, that's a great question. I
Mm,
mean, because we are so often not represented in fields of higher education, in positions of seniority, gives us an indirect message that we don't belong in those places. Okay, there's a subconscious messaging happening throughout the world to Black girls and boys that there is a place for them that is inferior to everybody else. Okay, I mean, even growing up in a very empowered Black home, with educated individuals, you go out in the world and that message is loud. It is really hard to ignore. And so that was part of it. There's also this layer with being also a woman too, that women can't do what men can do. And surgeons, physicians for the longest were mostly men. Now we're seeing where it's, half and half, maybe even slightly more women. A surgery is still very much a boys club. Okay. It's still very much a boys club. And so to then as a woman be in this boys club, this operating room was very intimidating. And so I just didn't, I mean, even I just never I think those messages are really, really loud that are delivered in so many ways as we are growing up in this society. And so that is and when I thought about like why don't I see myself as a surgeon? Why do I feel like I'm not smart enough to be there? I couldn't give you a tangible I couldn't give you like a
yeah,
objective answer. You see what I'm saying? It was just this
yeah.
feeling I had.
I think sometimes it's almost, when you grow up in a society that has a certain picture of this
Mhm,
is how life is supposed to be, and so in your mind it's almost in your subconscious, right? It's like when I'm supposed to be doing this, right? Like, not to, for people who grew up in a certain household, they're supposed to succeed, right?
mhm.
But there are, for some people of color especially, it's almost like I have these many hurdles I have to go through for me to succeed, so it's not an automatic thing. And so I think sometimes that is part of what we have to go through to get out of that hurdle, which is not fair, to be honest, because it's like a mindset shift, right?
Yes.
And it's such a hard thing, and not everybody's able to go through that and get that shift. But it's once you get that mindset shift is when you're like, okay, I belong here. Like when you're in those meetings or when you're in the operating room, you're like, oh, like I can do this. I mean, I'm actually better than some of these people. Like I'm actually capable of doing this. And so once you start believing it in yourself in that way, then automatically in your subconsciousness, I feel like that's when your almost your heart, it's like your whole being is like starting to like, okay, like I'm supposed to be here. But it's a hard thing because, as you mentioned, it's like in your mind, it's like that's never, that was never a thing to you.